If I had to summarize everything I've learned about defense over the last 11 years, I'd say this. Defense is a lot more than just heart and hustle. It's a skill, but almost no one trains it like one. In fact, if we go back to when I first started coaching, I was shocked at how little resources I could find on the subject. The first 1,000 pages of books I read on coaching, only 11 of them referenced individual defense. And they were mostly generic, things like try harder, and defense is about heart. But I didn't think that was enough, so I went looking for answers myself. And the first player I ever studied, everything I thought I knew about defense broke. In a single frame, Patrick Beverley broke so many rules I thought I knew about defense. And since then, I've coached top 10 defenses in the country, helped players from around the world, and analyzed thousands and thousands of defensive possessions. But it all started in that one moment, when I realized everything we were teaching might be wrong. That one clip sent me down an 11-year rabbit hole, studying great defenders frame by frame, and what I found changed how I taught defense forever. So in this video, I'm gonna break down everything I've learned, the full blueprint I'd give a player who asks me, what are the secrets to being an elite defender? Because in our lifetime, we've seen the evolution of shooting, the renaissance that is ball handling and mixtape moves, and now it's finally time. Welcome to the defensive revolution.
Man, oh man, what a defensive play. Tremendous defense. Wow.
If you want to understand modern defense, we should start here. For decades, we were taught the same thing. Stay low, bend your knees, shuffle your feet, and never cross your feet or bring them together. And that's the stance every coach still teaches today in clinics, books, and videos. But when I started to study elite defenders, I realized one thing. None of them look like this. They don't sit flat, wide in a stance. They angle their body, they lean forward, or they stand taller than you would expect, and they're never on their heels, even when they're retreating. These defenders use two modern stances, the upward stance and the forward stance. And they're tools, not set poses. A forward stance gives you something the old stance never could, a first move advantage, an ability to close distance easier, disrupt the ball, and cut off angles before they even form. You can dictate the drive instead of just trying to absorb it. And the upward stance? Well, it keeps you balanced, mobile, and ready to move in any direction with any footwork pattern to slide, crossover, cushion, or recover at any moment. And what we were seeing wasn't laziness or bad fundamentals. No, these were the best defenders to have ever played the game. They weren't breaking the rules of defense. They were trying to show us that the rules needed to be changed. And that was the first domino to fall. Because if the stance we were all taught was wrong, well, what else could be discovered? That's when I started to shift my focus to the footwork. And that's when things really got out of hand. The whole system I knew about defense was flipped on its head. For years, we were told the same thing. The lateral shuffle was king, don't cross your feet, and never bring them together. But that classic footwork, well, it's probably responsible for more players getting beat than any of those rules getting broken. Because when you study the great defenders, you start seeing so many rules break. Their feet aren't just shuffling, they're moving at different angles and in different ways. The crossover step, once considered a cardinal sin in basketball, is actually one of the most efficient ways to cover ground in recovery. It lets you cover the same amount of distance that would take you 2 to 3 classic defensive slides. So it allows a pressure defender to get up in you, but also recover and get back in front. The cushion slide is nearly the opposite approach. It's about avoiding the need to recover. It's about staying in front, not by moving laterally, but by moving backwards while keeping your chest square to the attacker. It lets you absorb drives, stay in legal guarding position, And if you're doing it right, rack up a ton of charges. Even the rule of bringing your feet together was broken by elite defenders. The two-touch slide is an alternative to the crossover slide, a quick foot replacement to generate more force and cover more ground to cut off the drive. So if I learned anything about defensive footwork, it's that it's dynamic. It's similar to the fluidity of ball handling. It's about solving problems, and it's probably rarely predictable. But that doesn't mean it can't be trained. It can. But we'll get to that a little later, because there's one more aha moment that's just as important as footwork and stances. The best defenders in the world don't just move differently, they think differently. Most of us think of defense as a reaction, getting back on defense and waiting to see what the offense will do to you. It's all about reading and reacting, which sounds good, but when you study the elite defenders, they're not just reacting, they're doing a lot more. They're anticipating, they're dictating. They see the play, the setup, the move one step earlier than everyone else. Watch the best defenders long enough and you realize they're out here playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. And it's a lot more than just knowing tendencies and scouting. That's helpful, but elite defenders dictate and control. I call this concept disruptive control, the idea that pressure predicts play, and that the more you pressure your opponent, the more predictable they become. So if you can stay on top of what they're going to do next, well, now you're in control and you're dictating the terms of engagement. Then we can pair that with your ability to learn their tendencies. The stunt steal is probably the pinnacle of this idea, faking at the ball handler just to learn and watch what they'll do in reaction, in response. Then using that knowledge to your advantage, waiting till later in the game when you fake just to anticipate and capitalize on what you know they're about to do. Then we move off the ball, where great defenders are never taking a play off. Instead, they're looking to make a play off the ball. This is where awareness is tested in defenders. And I used to think elite awareness was knowing where everyone was at the same time, but it gets a lot more nuanced than that. Because even Draymond Green has talked about awareness. It's about knowing where the key threats are, not necessarily where everything is. What you want to scan for is where the weakest matchup is, because that's where you'll be needed to help, or where the star player is and the main action on the court. You see, elite defenders are constantly scanning for those key things. They're not trying to take in everything, but they're trying to identify where the problems can come from. And with enough time, that awareness turns into recognition. You watch enough film and you live through enough possessions, those patterns become predictable. They become routine, ingrained in you, and the moments that you can strike become obvious. You'll see players like Dyson Daniels steal these elbow entries, or guys like Thibault steal the one more pass, or guys like Alex Caruso anticipate your crossover. But before we go any further into techniques, I want to address the one mistake players make the most. They learn these tendencies, these insights, these footworks, but they never train them. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. If we wanted to become better shooters, well, of course we would get at reps and try to master the technique. If we wanted to become great ball handlers, we would do ball handling drills and learn the reads. And defense is no different. It's not just about playing harder, competing, and playing one-on-one. It's about training the skills you'll need. Your feet need to learn how to produce the force at the correct angles and with enough explosiveness. Your footwork needs to be mastered so you can stay on balance and cut off angles. And your core needs to be strong enough to stabilize all your movements. Then, once you've mastered the technique and developed your athleticism, well, now we need to test it. We need to put you in situations where you have to react to live stimulus and anticipate where that player is going next. And only after that can we expect it to translate to the game. Just like I tell any player I start working with, great shooters get up reps, great defenders put in workouts. And when you train defense like a skill, well, everything changes. You stop hoping to stay in front, and instead you start focusing on making plays. Defense starts to become a part of the game you're excited for. Excited to see what kind of play you'll make next and how you'll completely make your opponent miserable. Now, of course, there is so much more to defense than we can possibly cover in one video. But I started this journey because no one could explain defense the same way we could explain offensive skills. And just saying try harder and put more heart into your defense, that didn't sit right with me. We deserved better answers, and finally I think we're getting closer. And if you're ready to go even deeper, with full breakdowns, full workouts, drills, film sessions, and more, then it's time you join the Lockdown Academy. I've taken everything I've learned over these 11 years, all the trial and error, the lessons and experiences, and I put it inside this one course. So if you're ready to become an elite defender, well, the Academy is waiting for you. And there are also a ton of videos already available on this channel, and there are breakdowns on my X feed. So make sure to follow and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below how long you've been on this journey with me. And if you're new to the channel, well, welcome to the defensive revolution. As always, I'm Coach Mike with Lockdown Defense. Keep up the hard work.